Tyler and I just found out all the players the 49ers want to sign. What's up? Welcome to LaCohn and LaRocca. That's Tyler C. LaRocca. I'm Grant L. Cohn. Free agency is around the corner, and the Niners have a lot of cap space this year. They didn't do much last year. They sort of took the year off, took on a bunch of dead cap. That's over. And if they really want to show that they care about winning, then this would be a good offseason for them to spend some money, and not just on stadium renovations for the World Cup or things that are soccer adjacent or soccer non-adjacent, talking football here. So why don't we start with the international games the Niners are playing this year? Because, it doesn't necessarily create a competitive advantage, but it definitely brings in money for the team and the league. Not one, but two international games. Nothing says a team taking its Super Bowl window seriously than a team that's going out of the country twice in 1 year. What do you think about this business opportunity for the Yorks?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Mexico City one, like even the players, like that one's not that big a deal because it's, Mexico's closer than New York. So, that one's not too bad. But the Australian one, it seemed like everyone had an issue with, like players even not on the team. They were like, how would you feel if you went to Australia? And like even Will Campbell's like, no, I like playing in the United States. Like, I'm good. I don't really care to play in Australia. So, I mean, good for the Yorks, man. They're really pushing their European fandom for leads. And so, going to Australia is just going to continue to bolster their lead sales. Maybe sell a couple Niners t-shirts, but we're really pushing, we're going for leads.
I mean, I just have a hard time seeing a team winning a Super Bowl in the same season where they had to leave the country twice. I mean, it's not enough that you had to go to Australia. You have to turn around. Could be a month later, could be 2 months later, and you're going to Mexico City. Now, I'm so excited that I get to go to both places. I've been to Mexico City before. It's a wonderful, wonderful city, and I've always wanted to go to Australia. But I just imagine I'm going to be freaking wrecked afterwards, and I don't have to play football that I know of. They do. It seems like this is I like Eddie DeBartolo, or like a good owner who really, really cared about winning, would probably fight for like, hey, we're only going to do one this year, just one. If we do any,
especially if you're going to Australia, like I'm not losing a home game if I'm going to Australia, dude. I'd be like, I'm staying here. I'm not going to Mexico. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here, and then we can play in Australia. But that being said, the Jags had two, or the Vikings had two international games, I think, last year in Europe, and I think the Jags did as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just teams that need money, small market teams that haven't won in a while, need some cash,
Yeah, well, I just feel like they're going to start the season 0-2 because that first game in Australia is against the Rams. You're not as good as the Rams. I mean, maybe they'll watch our stream today, sign all the players we tell them to sign. No. We already know the players they're going to sign. So maybe they actually are going to be better than the Rams. But if everyone gets hurt because of the substation, they start off 0-1. Then you go back. I feel like the Rams and the Niners are going to lose week 2 just because they're going to be so jet lagged.
How do they pay for a new practice field if they don't play 2 international games?
That's a good point. That's a great point. Can I tell you something?
A little more of the Niners too.
This is the truth. Okay, so I am a terrific athlete, as we all know, and I've been doing Orange Theory for about a year, and I was really, really in great shape after I fell on the treadmill. I was going every day.
You're at your
about
peak.
Mid-October to late November, I started developing like not severe, but like pretty painful sciatica to the point where I couldn't run, and it was tragic, man. Like it really set me back in my professional athlete journey.
You and LeBron.
Season ended, and I'm no longer going around that facility, that substation anymore. I feel fine.
It's definitely not in your head. I think it is the substation.
It's gotta be the substation. I'm just saying. Definitely. I feel great.
Yeah, I mean, they have to move it. Like, there's just no way. It's been such a talking point at this point. Every question, every injury that happens is going to be, well, I mean, do you think you'd have this happen if you weren't at a substation? Like,
guess what's right next to the stadium in Mexico City?
A substation.
Yes.
Well, but that's like the whole Niners really do have home field advantage because they're used to that weakness.
Do you think if the players spend enough time directly next to the substation that they'll turn into X-Men?
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe they're gonna
You
hit
think this could be
something that.
beneficial at a certain point where all of a sudden they have, mutant powers?
I mean, look at what Christian did this year. He had what 400 something
Look at
touches.
Fred Warner. He broke his leg and came back 3 weeks later.
Yeah. So I think it's possible. I think it's also possible that the Yorks are just in it for the cash at this point. I don't know.
Maybe they should change their team name from the 49ers to the X-Men. And then I think they definitely should change their team name from San Francisco to San Jose. Come on, man. You can't, those are two distinct different
Mm-hmm.
markets.
Santa Clara
So you
49ers.
couldn't call the Sharks the San Francisco Sharks. That would be ridiculous.
But they didn't call the Golden State well, I guess they're Golden State, so
Right.
you could still be Golden State and be in Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there.
That's
so
pretty
looking
rough.
forward to the 2 international games and the Niners going to the Super Bowl next year. Okay, before we get into the Niners free agent targets, guys, they should be signed. Let's talk about guys who are entering their final season with the team.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Guys who are going to be gone after this year. You name one, then I'll name one.
Nick Bosa.
You think Nick Bosa is going to be gone after this year?
I'm pretty sure, isn't his contract up next year, but they have an out this year?
Let's see. I'm concerned about Bosa. I mean, he's not going to be the same player after the third ACL.
They have an out.
Potential out after 2026. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. My assumption is he's gone. There's no way they want to take on $94 million in cap for a dude off another ACL surgery. I highly doubt he's going to go crazy this year.
That's a good point, man. The thing with Nick Bosa is that his contract becomes unpalatable now. It's been fine up until now. His cap number last year was $20 million, which was 7% of the cap. This year it's $42 million, which is 13.8% of the cap. That's gross for any player. Oh,
yeah.
Yuck. And he probably won't even be there for week 1. That's terrible. That might be the worst contract on the team. $42 million cap hit for Nicholas John Bosa in the year 2026 of our Lord. His middle name might not even be John, but it is now.
Yeah, that would be my guess is he's gone, because my guess is he'll also, if he does play well, he'll ask for an extension, and the Niners will be like, are you out of your mind? Actually, no.
Nicholas
the Niners,
John Bosa, yes.
No, the Niners actually love signing people old and it hurt. So actually, if he did ask for an extension, he'd probably get one. But I feel like they'll cut him.
You can't give him an extension coming off this injury. That would be insane.
Who's yours? Who's your guy?
If they were to cut Bosa this year, they would take on $75 million in dead cap. So they can't cut him yet. Plus, he has $23 million in guaranteed salary. But next year, no guaranteed salary. And they save almost $19 million if they cut him. Yeah, this could be Nick Bosa's final season with the 40. They could trade him next year, too.
Yeah,
Nicholas John Bosa.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas John Bosa.
Nicholas John Bosa. That's a great call. Okay, here's another one. Trent Williams, entering the final season of his contract, 38 years old. I do not envision him getting an extension. This could be the final year for Trent Williams.
I'm going to go another one, Brock Purdy. This is his out year. Next year's his out year. And I don't think he's going to last the out year. I don't think he's going to last it.
Here's the thing with Brock Purdy. Let's look at his contract. It's not expensive yet, but it will get expensive in a couple of years. And the more expensive he gets, the less trade value he'll have. So right now his cap number is at 24. Next year it's at 30, and the year after that it's 57. It kind of explodes, just like Nicholas John Bosa's. So they could conceivably trade him next year and only hold on, let me get it. They could save $7 million in cap space. They trade him next year. Only take on $24 million in dead cap.
Yeah. So,
and it's like if he has another season where he plays 9 games and throws 11 picks in 10 games, and Matt plays well in relief, yeah, it's an option.
I mean, and I just see it like this, right? Like we see John's contract expires, Kyle's contract I think expires. So everyone's contract's expiring at the end of this year. And so
Kyle's goes through 2027. I don't know why he's signed for one more year than Lynch.
Okay.
I believe that's true.
So I think,
but still,
yeah, I think this is it for Brock. I think if they struggle this year and the offense is still bad and the Niners haven't extended Kyle, they'll be like, listen, dude, like we're willing to give like one more swing for you, but it can't be Brock because he's not getting it done for your offense.
Well, you kind of went where I was going. I was going to mention the fullback. He's definitely in his final season
Oh
with the team.
gosh.
So that's Trent, Nicholas John, Brock, and the fullback. Makes me
Yeah.
wonder, is it also Kyle? Is it also John? If they
Oh
do really
yeah, for
well,
sure.
they'll come back. But if this is a disappointing season, if the second international game takes them out, if the substation finally ends them, I'm not sure that Kyle Shanahan's necessarily planning for the future. He doesn't necessarily act like a coach who's thinking about 2, 3 years down the line. His whole offense is guys who've been here. He had every opportunity to develop the Jordans, this Watkins and James, and wanted to
Yeah.
play guys who are old. I mean, maybe he feels like
And
this
I
could be the
think,
end for him too.
yeah, I think John's definitely gone. Like my kind of, I guess, hot take is John pretty much has to kill almost every pick in this draft to and the free agency to stay around. I think everyone's kind of over John. I think he's pretty much the odd man out at this point. If the Niners like, because every player and they're all saying like we're going to get aggressive. We've shown we can win a Super Bowl. All right, well you just said it. So good luck if you don't win it next year. One of you's on the hot seat. And here's another player that's interesting. George Kittle has an out after next year. And after his Achilles injury, my assumption is he's not going to really play much and not be that great. I think this is probably George's last year on the team as
That's
well.
really interesting because again, yeah, like if Kyle Shanahan is out next year, then I mean, the whole offense, all of his
Oh, for
guys who've
sure.
been here
Yeah.
could be out. Kittle, Trent, Bosa, and I do think it's interesting. Like we're assuming this would mean that the Niners were pushing Kyle Shanahan out. What if Kyle doesn't want to be here anymore?
I
What if
mean,
he's
yeah.
like, you know, I'm stuck with Brock. The rest, like he's not gonna get it done. He's overpaid. He's not quite good enough. I'm gonna get blamed for this. Instead of doing this for 5 to 10 years and getting nowhere, why don't I just let the contract expire? I'll be the most sought after coach on the market. I could go coach Josh Allen. Maybe I could go coach Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I could coach whoever I want. Do I
Mhm.
really want to coach
Or he could
Tom
go to the
Brady for the rest of his
Eagles
career?
with Howie Roseman. Be like, I could go to the Eagles and pair up with this dude, and I will always have talent on my team. And here, want to know what's interesting is Mac had that interview after the season where he's like, "Oh yeah, I love it here. I get along really well with Kyle. I know he really wanted me in the draft." And that was really interesting to me because it was like, okay, so Kyle did want him. Then who drafted Trey? Because it kind of sounded like, well, Kyle wanted me. Kyle told me he wanted to draft me. And then if you go back to the call where Kyle goes, Trey, didn't you know this was coming? And Trey goes, no. Like I had no idea I was getting drafted by you guys here. It seems like the front office superseded Kyle here and was like, listen, we traded all the way up to 3. We're not trading all the way up to 3 for Mac Jones. So we're going with this guy. At least that's what I'm gathering. So
I
maybe Kyle's
disagree.
over it.
My best guess is that Kyle wanted Mac Jones, but lost his nerve because there was a lot of public pressure not to take Mac Jones, and I think he didn't want the smoke. So I think he buckled and maybe went with his second choice or let someone else influence him and immediately hated the decision. But I think he's the one who ultimately didn't have the courage of his convictions. I wouldn't give him the out. He runs his team. If he really wanted Mac Jones like that and said, I don't care what anyone thinks, he would have taken him. I don't think anyone overruled him. And he lost his nerve.
Yeah, and I don't see Kyle leaving because like the big thing is Kyle hasn't gotten extended yet. The
Nope.
front office for sure wants to extend him. Like he just had a coach of the year. There's a 0% chance Jed and Parag didn't want to extend Kyle. He makes their cheap roster good.
Well, let's go to the next topic then. There's this rumor that the Niners are going to bring in a new personnel guy, not
Thank
necessarily a new
God.
general manager, but a new personnel guy who would sort of be in charge of scouting and picking players and would kind of bump personnel, like kind of bump Lynch out of there and maybe bump Kyle Shanahan out of there too and his dad. Like he would be in charge of the whole thing. It would be a big departure because the way I look at it is since 2017, this has been the Kyle Shanahan production as narrated by John Lynch. John Lynch isn't making any major decisions unless Kyle Shanahan tells him to. Kyle makes the decisions and no one really knows. And the Niners had to give him that power because they were the freaking Raiders 10 years ago. Now they're not. They're a good organization and they've had awful drafts 5 years in a row. And to me, if you bring in a new personnel guy, that is a bit of a demotion for Kyle Shanahan, which brings us back to a previous topic. Is it possible he might not want to stay here long term? If they bring in a new personnel guy, what do you think that means for the organization?
I think again they're leaning towards, in my opinion, the Niners want to rebuild with Kyle. I don't know how Kyle feels, but I think the 49ers want to get rid of John. Because here's my thing, and this is why I don't say it's always 100% on Kyle. Because if you look at Adam Peters or Kwesi, two guys that have come out from under John's like tree, so to speak, they're both horrible and they both draft like John. So I don't think it's as 100% Kyle as like we think. I think definitely Kyle has like decision making power, but I think John and his scouting department and his like GM is like, well, Kyle, these are the guys that would fit. And then Kyle's picking out of that litter because he doesn't have the time to scout. He doesn't even go to the combine. So he is trusting these guys that are horrible. And then he's saying, well, I want this guy if I'm picking out of these guys. This guy looks the best. Like they kind of bring Kyle their final draft and Kyle goes over it like, okay, I'm watching the film on this guy. This guy's pretty good. But they're like not picking the best guys. And so I think this guy is basically going to replace John. This is where John's going to either promote to like president of football or whatever. And then this guy's going to promote to GM. And they're going to kind of let this guy run the draft and scouting at least. I don't know about completely run the draft, but I think like he's going to scout for Kyle instead of whoever the hell they have in the building.
Well, that would be a huge dynamic shift, and it would be interesting to see if Kyle would go along with it because Jed, who doesn't know as much as he thinks he does about running championship organizations, he keeps saying like what he learned from the Harbaugh Trent Baalke time is that you have to have those guys like on the same page, communicating well, borderline friends, and they need to be brought in at the same time. And so when they fired Harbaugh and kept Baalke, like he felt that was his mistake.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And that ultimately he needed to get rid of Baalke too and bring in two guys at the same time. So I wonder if he would replace Lynch and keep Kyle, or if you're replacing Lynch, then you're already kind of replacing Kyle because Kyle wants to buy the groceries and prepare the meal at the same time. I don't know if he would necessarily take a back seat after all that, because again, he could leave the Niners and get that power somewhere else if he wanted it, or work for a personnel guy that he really respects.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's what they're trying to find, though, is they're trying to find a personnel guy that Kyle respects and will at least let, like, again, because I think Kyle has a decision-making power, but I think he's getting bad information. So he's scouting in a pile of, like, shit. And they're trying to bring in a guy that Kyle respects where he's like, okay, look at this. And he's like, this is a better pile of people for you to scout through. Here's where you should look. And then Kyle's going, oh, yeah, I like this guy. Okay, I'll sign an extension with this dude. Because I just feel like it's so easy to say it's just Kyle. But when I see Kwesi and Peters going off and being just as horrible as John, it's like, okay, it can't just be Kyle because this is like a systemic issue.
Yeah, and the Niners have had the same scouting department for like 15, 20 years, and it doesn't seem like they're doing that well anymore. They got to shake it up. They keep promoting from within. It's beyond time for them to bring in some new blood, some new faces from a different organization, because the Niners keep acting like they have the answers internally. No, you freaking don't.
No, that's why when the Falcons were interviewing like Josh Williams was like, why do you guys want our scouting department? They are horrible. They have not been good at anywhere they've gone. Adam Peters has been bad. Kwesi was bad. John's bad. You want to test a third time's the charm? Like,
There's more. Ron Carthon was another one.
I don't know. I think this new guy is just to kind of help scout. Like, where John's like, oh, I like this guy out of Rutgers. And this guy's like, what? Bro, there's guys from Power 5 schools that are 10 times better than him. Let's scout this guy. And then Kyle will look at both like, yeah, he's right.
It's February 18th, though. I think if they're going to bring in a new personnel guy, they would have done it already. I mean, I would think that their draft board is damn near set. What are they waiting for? It's kind of scary to think that the same exact front office is going to lead another free agency. This is the same front office that gave Luke Farrell $11 million guaranteed over 3 years. Like, that was dumb.
This is why I think this is John's last year as GM. Maybe not as a Niner, because, again, he's a really good face of the franchise. He's a really good talker to the media. So I could definitely see them promoting him to, again, like president of football. But I think this is his last year, like actually being GM, because he's horrible at finding talent. He's
John and
horrible.
Kyle have done some good things, but on their resume together, they're responsible for one of the worst trades in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the worst contracts in the history of the NFL.
I would argue you could say a couple of the worst contracts in the history of the NFL.
Well, Ayuk is for sure right
Yeah,
now one of the
for
worst
sure.
contracts ever. Right, for sure.
I think
mean, we'll
Debo's
see what
also
happens with
one of
Brock.
them.
Who?
Debo did nothing after his contract. That was awful. Javon
Well,
Hargrave.
Ayuk did the definition of nothing after he
Yeah.
got his contract. Yeah.
Javon Hargrave. That one's
man, some
another
bad ones.
Yeah. Letting
Some
go
bad
of
ones.
Buckner
But
for
Lance and
Armstead.
Ayuk are two of the worst moves in the
for
history
sure.
of moves.
Yeah, those are scary. Those are fireable offenses. And that's why I kept saying I don't understand how John Lynch has a job. Because literally, if we look at his span of GM since Cohn was GM, he is arguably worse than Cohn.
And to me, the Niners were just as like the Niners were good last year because of like Eddie Pinheiro, Sky Moore, Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan, Mac Jones, and Brock Purdy. Like they were good in certain small areas.
Yeah.
They were awful everywhere else, and they had an easy schedule. And they got to face the self-destructing Eagles in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then when
and
they
I
faced
also
a good
think
team,
I think that's also a big point. They also got saved by having such an easy schedule, which we said last year. They were going to win a lot of games, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this team's so much better," and they just necessarily weren't.
I picked the Niners to win 7 games because I felt that they were going to have hella injury issues and not be able to overcome them. And they did have hella injury issues, but I didn't understand that Eddie Pinheiro was going to be the greatest kicker of all time and that Mac Jones was going to be that good. When I saw him when I saw him like early in the season, I kind of got it. But when I was snarkily picking 7-10 season, I was like, nah, man, Brock's getting hurt. They're going down. It's going to be a lot like 2024.
Do you think Sam Darnold winning a Super Bowl has like basically stamped the we shouldn't have signed Brock Purdy to this contract? Like, do you think that's probably why they're looking at a new personnel guy to bring in the front office? Because they're like, we are obviously doing something.
Let me ask you this.
Wrong.
Would the Seahawks have won the Super Bowl this year if they were paying Brock Purdy $53 million a year?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Like, they're even going to be struggling to keep players with Sam's cheap contract.
Correct, which is getting more expensive this year.
Like,
I think that the Seahawks, not just winning a Super Bowl, but they don't look like a one-off team. They look like a team that's going to be right back there next year. They look like a potential dynasty because they're so young.
My prediction is they'll never go back. They're losing.
That's possible,
yeah.
But still, they're pretty well positioned. They're not an old team. They have most of their players coming back. Like you're going to have to deal with them in the foreseeable future. And they have a very like particular way of putting their team together. They don't have any big weaknesses. The teams that spend all this money on quarterbacks are like, what's okay? We can be mediocre on defense or mediocre in the trenches because we have the greatest quarterback. Seahawks don't play like that. Their worst player is their quarterback, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, I get like my thing is like they might lose Kenneth Walker, Tariq Woolen. Like guys like that are pretty big. Those are pretty big holes to fill.
And they lost their OC who
and their OC
solid.
And they might lose Rashid Shaheed. But I was talking about this before. I said Seahawks winning the Super Bowl isn't going to be good for them because whenever players win the Super Bowl, unless again you have like a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady, if you have a Sam Darnold or even a Brock Purdy, players just be like, all right, well, we're probably not going to be a dynasty. I want my money now. Now it's time for me to take care of my family. Whereas like you see Chiefs, like players like, okay, I'll take I'll stay here because I got Pat. Like, we'll be fine. But like you see Seahawks players like, okay, now let's get my money. Like I did it. I accomplished it. Probably won't accomplish it again. Let's get my.
All right. Got a couple of super chats. BNA established 1988 says Jared Hayne jersey retirement game in Australia. LOL.
I thought he was going to be so good.
AK Roll 65 says, do you know what's under the substation? Do you know what's under the substation underground 2 substation? Yeah, there's more substation.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Yep. Baby Radiant says Niners need to clean house just like the Dolphins are doing.
They will never do that. That would mean Jed's admitting he failed, and he will not do that. But, I don't think. And if you're keeping Kyle would never.
But if they don't keep Kyle, then they get rid of everyone else. Then yeah, they might have to.
Oh, for sure. If they lose
Mhm.
Kyle, that automatically kicks off. You need to get rid of everyone. If they try and win with this roster with a different coach, they're brain dead.
All right, let's talk the Niners' top free agent targets. They need to be aggressive. They need to catch 2 teams in their division. They have a lot of cap space. They have some glaring holes in their starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to start, sir? Who would you like to see the Niners sign?
So my biggest want this offseason is Debo Samuel. No, just kidding. It's
Sure.
Alec Pierce. I really think Alec Pierce, or if I'm being real crazy, I want Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I think Kyle could turn Kyle Pitts into something crazy.
I would like Kyle Pitts or Isaiah Likely, one of those 2 tight ends. I think signing a
Oh,
tight end would be
Isaiah
really smart.
Likely would be a good one. That's a
Either
good
one.
shout.
I
Yeah.
almost prefer Likely because he's a good run after the catch guy, but Pitts is super fast and would stretch the field. Either one. And
Yeah.
then I'd like to see the Niners sign, Isaac Sumalo.
Yeah.
He's probably the best guard on the market,
I
and
was gonna say Connor McGovern from Buffalo
either
center.
way either
Yeah.
way, I want a left guard. I don't want Ben Barch anymore or Spencer Burford.
Yeah,
They
we
can get a
really
center
do
too.
need a left guard. We need a left
Like,
guard.
come on. So I would like Isaac Sumalo. I would kinda like Boye Mafe from the Seahawks. I want an edge
Mm.
rusher
Dang,
who's
you want a
can play a
lot.
little outside linebacker, who can actually a 3-4 outside linebacker.
I want
Boye
Leonard
Mafe would be
Floyd.
great. Huh?
I
Yeah.
want Leonard Floyd.
Yeah. Joey Bosa.
Oh my god, yeah. People saying that are insane. And you know who I actually wouldn't hate? Is even Hassan Reddick. Like if you get him on like a 1-year deal, just someone to help the edge a little bit. Like we really need help. And then I want one of the safeties, dude. There's so
Yep.
many safeties up for grabs. Get
Kobe
someone that's
Bryant, Jaquan Brisker, Cam
Kyle
Curl.
Duggar, Jalen Thompson,
Yep.
like Bayard, who is just an all pro. Like, oh, Reed
There's so many.
Blankenship's Reed
Brian Cook,
Blankenship is even a free agent.
he
Like, you have
sucks.
a get he does, but he's a lot better than what we got.
That's true.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, get any of these top 5 safeties available. Like someone. You could even bring back Jimmy Ward at 35 years old,
Yeah. I wouldn't be
Jaquan
against
Brisker.
signing a running back, although I would like uh, Jordan James and Isaac Guerrero to get a chance, but I feel like the Niners have told us what they think of them. If they could go out and get Rico Dowdle,
He's good.
he ran his
Or what if
ass
they
off
get
last
what
year.
if they sign Travis Etienne? Just throw him a little bag.
Travis Etienne, Rico
I think
Dowdle,
I think
someone
Travis
with
would
a
be
little
so
juice
good.
left who's not
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. Unless you're drafting again. I like Nick Singleton. I know he just, busted his knee, but I think he's really, really good. If you're gonna
Okay,
draft
Trent Baalke.
someone. What? You could draft him late now, which is nice. You could draft him like the 5th, 6th round where, doesn't matter. And then who's your favorite receiver you think they should grab? Because I think it's Alec Pierce still.
He's gonna be expensive. If they're gonna sign a wide receiver, I don't know that I necessarily want them to sign a wide receiver. They're so expensive. I'd rather go tight end. That's my hot take. I'm gonna avoid the wide receiver market and go tight end. And then,
See,
what about
here's my
Rashid?
thing.
What about Rashid
That's
Shaheed?
what I was just gonna say. I
Yeah,
would really go for Rashid Shaheed because he is significantly better than Sky Moore at everything Sky Moore does. He replaces Sky
true.
Moore with ease. Or if you really want, you could get both because Sky Moore's worth $5. Like you can go after Rashid Shaheed. He's a special teams, he's a special team guy, so he's not going to make big receiver money. Instead of paying Jawan money, you could probably pay Rashid Shaheed a little bit less and sign him and be his highest bidder. So I personally would go after Rashid Shaheed as well. I think Rashid Shaheed would be so valuable for the Niners. He's so good.
And again, if you're trying to catch the Seahawks, maybe take some of their players. So
Yeah.
I think Rashid Shaheed is a great, not a great player, but a great player to have on your team. And them trading for Shaheed at the deadline was maybe the
Huge.
best move of the
Yeah.
season. It was great. So
He's
I'd be
crazy
cool with
good.
that. How much do you think he would cost?
I think the rumors were he was taught like he was looking for around like 16 to 18 a year. But no,
Ugh.
but here's my thing is the Niners
Dude,
are
wide
thinking about
receivers, man. Oh,
but here's my thing is the Niners are debating paying Jawan 20. If you were thinking about that, go pay Shaheed 18. Just go pay him. I would rather pay Shaheed 18 than Jawan 20.
but the thing with that is like Jawan's a slightly better fit with Purdy.
No. No,
Yes.
no, because you could just draft a Jawan replacement. He's 30, he's 30, and
Yeah,
he had
but
drop
Shaheed is a
issues.
big time deep threat who runs fades up the sideline, dog.
Yes,
Kyle doesn't call that shit, and Brock doesn't throw that shit.
but he's a special teams ace that you need.
Not for $17 million a year.
In the end arounds, he can be good at the screen game. So you can draft one of
I
those
just don't
big
think they
body
get their
guys that
money's
can
worth.
catch and runs a
I don't think they
4.8
get their
40.
money's worth, but he's good. And you could say like, well, they're not paying any other wide receiver. They're not paying Ricky. I like him.
I
like
would
him.
get because you can draft a big body 4.8 running receiver. Or like you said, you could just draft Kyle Pitts and put him in the slot. He's probably faster than Jawan anyways.
No, he is faster than Jawan.
Exactly. So he
Yeah.
could do the same thing. He's a big body, now receiver. He sucks at blocking anyways. You don't need him to be a tight end. You can just make him a Jawan.
So all we want the Niners to do is sign Rashid Shaheed, Kyle Pitts, Rico Dowdle, Boye Mafe,
Okay.
and a safety. Any safety. I think
literally any safety.
Any
And
safety.
any safety, and then draft another one. Just
And then you
get
could
two
spend a first
safeties.
round pick on a linebacker. That would be pretty creative.
Actually,
You know what
no,
I mean?
Grant, they're listening to this. When we say any safety, they're gonna actually go for like Jimmy Ward or something. Any safety that still has some gas left in the tank. Yo, we have to specify.
And when we
for
say
them.
any safety, we don't mean Jair Brown.
Yeah, we don't mean like guys at the bottom of the any safety list. We mean guys in like the top 5 to 7. You know, a starter, an NFL starter, not college.
All right, let's talk draft. The combine is next week. You know college football really well. I think everyone can look up the top wide receivers projected to go in this year's draft. The Niners are gonna draft a wide receiver. We know it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah. Especially after
The way
how
I look
big
at
of a
it
bust
is
Ricky
they've
was.
been at the bottom of the league the last couple of years in yards after the catch. And that's a huge problem, particularly against Seattle.
Yeah.
They don't give up long catches. They struggle against the Rams because Puka Nacua is a freaking beast after the catch.
Yeah.
We know they need speed. We know they need yak. Who are some guys in the first couple of rounds, maybe 3 rounds, who theoretically could give that skill set?
So here's my thing is if you're the 49ers, you have like 2 options. In my opinion, you're trading up for like Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate, which they would be high. But if you traded up for one of these 2 guys, they're perfectly worth it. Like they're incredible. They're going to both be really, really good. If not, you're kind of sitting at your pick and you'd be probably looking at picking like if you were a good GM, you'd be looking at picking like a Denzel Boston or Casey Conception. Even though Casey is a drop machine. I know a lot of people love him. He drops the ball.
Before you tell me what you don't like about him, can you tell me why people love him?
Oh, because the second he has the ball in his hands, he can house it at any moment he wants.
Okay.
He is like
so that's exactly what the Niners need.
Yes, he is a yak superstar. He is an end around superstar. He could take a screen and house it whenever he wants. The issue is, will he catch the screen?
Yep. Fair.
And his biggest issue is his biggest drops are over the middle, which is always where they love to throw the ball.
That to me could be more of like a focus issue than a like.
It is. He's scared to get hit because he's small.
Issue.
Yes, he's scared to get hit because he's small. So
Okay.
if someone puts him over the middle, especially if I was watching Brock Purdy tape and what he did to Brandon Ayuk, if I was him, I'd be scared to catch a Brock Purdy football over the middle.
Okay, fair enough. Still, though, I feel like a lot of time, considering how easily defensive players catch Brock Purdy's passes, maybe Concepcion would catch him too.
Yeah, I think he's really good. And if you're going to draft someone, most likely, if you're drafting a receiver and your best player available at 27 is most likely going to be KC. And even if he's at like 24, 23 still, and like Boston, Lemon, Tyson, Tate are all drafted. I would probably trade up for him because, again, he literally is a threat to house the ball at any point in time. If not, if I was the Niners, I'd probably wait till the second round and draft someone like Jeremy Bernard from Bama because he's a lot like Debo. He's super smart. He's a good route runner. He's very good at yak. He's not a deep threat at all. And he's very physical. He's not super. He's like a 4-5 guy, but he's physical as hell. He's literally like Debo.
Those are Kyle Shanahan's favorite wide receivers. He doesn't want you to be too fast.
Yeah.
Like you run a 4.4, he's like, dude, slow down.
Yeah.
I didn't run a 4.4. Why are you making me look bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
think
Juwan,
Jeremy
you ran a
Bernard.
4.7. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think Jeremy Bernard is probably like Kyle. If I was guessing Kyle's draft board, my assumption is Jeremy Bernard is pretty high up there for him. He's literally like, if you were to pick a guy that's like Debo, it's him.
I would imagine that the Niners, I don't know, I feel like they shouldn't draft a wide receiver in round 1.
I don't unless
they
you're
just
trading
did that
up.
2 years ago. But round 2, I would be shocked if they didn't take one in round 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if they traded up in round 2 to take the guy.
And that's kind of where I'd be if I was the Niners. I'd kind of let the draft play out, and in my opinion, I'd draft like a safety or a corner or something like that in round 1, or even an offensive lineman. Like draft the dude out of Penn State that could fall to us. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But in second round, that's when things get interesting because if KC falls to the second round, then yeah, trade up and get him. But if not, Jeremy Bernard is probably going to fall to you in the second round, where you can easily take him and Kyle gets Debo 2.0, exactly who he likes.
I think he's going to try to get Debo 2.0 this year. They don't need to get another Jawan Jennings. I mean, you could probably find that guy as an undrafted free agent, a guy who runs that slowly. Yeah. But they need real explosion, real speed, and real yak ability. And if the guy can't catch, maybe that's even better. Maybe that'll turn the rest of the league off to him, and the Niners can get their the next Cam Latu.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing with them is if they're going to take a big swing, my guess is their big swing is going to be to get Jordan Tyson. He's an ASU product. He's a big boy. Yep. He's fast. He's very good. But yeah, if they don't, I could see them sitting still till Jeremy Bernard. Like he's kind of like Kyle's typical guy. KC is, but he's just small.
Trading up in round 1 would be interesting. They don't have that many draft picks. They have 7 draft picks. They have a ton of needs. Maybe if they trade Mac Jones, they could do it. But I feel like a wide receiver in round 1, they need trenches more. They need a linebacker. They need to replace Dre Greenlaw. They still haven't done that. So I don't know. I would rather wait until round 2. I don't like waiting until round 3 or 4 because Kyle won't play those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think round 2, I think this is a really deep draft for receiver talent too. So I think waiting till 2 is safe. I think definitely address the line or corner or safety in round 1, in my opinion, and then hit round 2 with your receiver or trade up in round 2. But who knows with the Niners? They could take a jump. They could jump and try and swing for a receiver because they seem like they want to be aggressive. So maybe they make a draft night trade, Mac Jones, and they jump up and try and snag like a Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon. But
yeah, to me, I would not take Alec Pierce. I wouldn't sign any wide receivers unless I drafted him and I felt he's one of the best receivers in the league and we're going to throw him 160 passes a season. Like the Seahawks should extend JSN. No question.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
But the Ayuk extension never made sense. He's not a top 5 wide receiver. You don't throw him that many passes. He's not your whole offense. What are you doing?
Well, I think that was their goal, was to make him it, but yeah, it kind of hurt. So you don't, I know you don't like Alec Pierce.
I like Alec Pierce. No, I do like Alec Pierce. I don't want to spend $20 million a year on 3 catches.
Would you rather spend $20 million a year on him or Juwan?
Neither. Option C. Sumalo.
So you really
guard.
You're really putting the fire to John Lynch, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh,
You're
yeah.
expecting him to actually hit in a first round. That's impressive.
I don't think I'm putting the fire to Lynch. I think I'm putting the fire to Jed York, dude. You got to spend. People let you not spend last year and sort of understood. I don't think they're going to understand this year.
What do
And
you
it's
mean? You
hard
just
to
said
blame
don't
John and
spend.
Kyle. What?
You just said don't spend.
No, I said we want him to sign Boye Mafe,
Oh,
Kyle
yeah, yeah,
Pitts,
yeah. Okay.
Rico
So you want
Dowdle.
him to spend all that and then just focus
Not
on
on
the
wide
receiver
receivers.
in the
That's the
draft?
thing. Wide
Yeah.
receivers are too expensive and they don't do enough. I'd
Okay.
rather spend on a guard who plays every snap on offense
And
and
then
affects the
draft
run
a
game and the
receiver.
pass game.
And then, yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
could agree with that. Do you think
Yeah.
they're gonna? Do you think because I haven't heard much about the rumor about Jordan Addison or anything? Do you think they're still looking to trade for a receiver? Or no, you think that's dead in the water?
I think I think they're definitely looking to trade for a receiver. And I feel like a lot of these rumors are going to pick up next week when all these teams are schmoozing at the combine. That's what the
Mm.
Niners tried to trade Ayuk last year and found out that no one wanted him. They were so surprised.
I would be surprised too. We just paid him so much money, and his knee's only a little bit broken.
Big Tone says sign Charlie Collar, underrated hands. Good blocker.
Charlie
That's Larry's guy. What about Jake Tonjes, man? What's up with all this Jake Tonjes slander? I don't understand. How many games would the Niners have won without Jake Tonjes this year? That's my question.
Oh, I
Not
actually
enough.
have a question. What would you think if the Oregon tight end Kenyon Sadiq fell to the Niners, or they traded up and drafted Kenyon Sadiq?
I'd be down. Why not?
I feel like that would be such a surprise, like out of nowhere. Like they don't sign any. I feel like actually that could be like them tipping their hand, is if they don't sign like a Kyle Pitts and Joku, likely, and like nothing happens. Like say they don't even sign Tonjes and they go into the draft. I feel like that means they want to draft someone like him.
I think we're gonna be in La La Land all year, and all we're gonna hear about is how George Kittle's gonna be ready for week 1. I
Oh
bet
God.
you. I bet you.
They're
He's ahead
really
of
going to
schedule.
put their entire faith in George. You know what's crazy though is people ask questions about Brandon Ayuk for months when he was hurt, never heard anything. The first question they're asked about Kittle, oh yeah, he's gonna be ready week 1. Ayuk,
I
they kept saying,
guarantee
we
you they're
don't
gonna say
know,
that.
we don't know, we don't know.
LL YouTube says maybe I missed it and need to watch again, but the Ayuk injury was a dirty hit. Nonetheless, he's no longer a Niner.
It wasn't a dirty hit; it was a shitty throw. Like what?
Yeah, and
What do you want safeties or DBs to do? Just let him catch it and then like cradle him to the ground? Like, all right, you got it, buddy. Like he has to make a play. That's not his fault. That's the quarterback's fault for putting him in the position.
I'd love to go back and watch the like raw footage of that play and see which players went over to check on him when he was down. Did Brock? Did
Probably
Kyle?
not.
Because
Brock
I
was,
bet you Ayuk knows.
maybe that's why he hates them.
Just saying.
Jimmy would have checked on him. I'll tell you that much. Jimmy would have.
And Larry had an interesting point. I've been wondering if he wants to play football anymore. What if he can't play football anymore? That knee injury was pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, that thing was brutal. I mean, I am assuming he's going to go to the Commanders, though. I'm assuming we're going to release him. He's going to go to Commanders on a cheap
I
one
don't
year.
assume that.
Why?
But maybe he will.
Why don't you
because
think
that was
that?
my assumption at first. My assumption at first was him and his agent were talking and working together, and the agent was like, just be quiet and we'll get you to Washington. But I get the feeling that he went rogue on everyone and is not communicating with anyone, including his agent. That's the sense I get. Because if he were, you'd think the agent would be working in the back channels with media people to sort of get his side of the story out there, but no one knows his side of the story. He doesn't seem to have a side of the story.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I mean, that injury does seem crazy, and he is trying to, be YouTube famous. So maybe he knows he's done, which would be really sad.
All right, it's prize picks time. Not football prize picks today. I want to do Call of Duty prize picks in honor of
Oh, bless you, bless you.
Thank you. In honor of Kyler Murray. So who you like? Kismet, Scrap, Kleenex,
Dude,
Ocas?
Scrap is him. A 1.08 KD though is pretty high.
Really?
But he could feast on Toronto. The issue is actually, yeah, go more. I love Scrap.
More. He could feast on Toronto? He's facing Toronto.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ernie's the GOAT.
What team is he on?
Who? Scrap? He's on the LA Thieves.
Oh, the Thieves. He's
on a super team. They're on a super team.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about Kismet? Oh my God.
1 KD against C9 New York. Ooh, that's very possible. That is very ooh, that's tough. C9 sucks. Kismet's kind of 50-50. We're gonna go less.
Less. I don't believe in Kismet whatsoever. What about Simp? Heard of
Simp the
him?
Pimp. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Simp's goated.
Against
Ooh,
Vancouver?
1.12. Vancouver sucks, but usually like everyone, I'm gonna go less because I
Okay.
think everyone on his team is gonna feast against Vancouver.
Okay. I don't exactly know what any of this stuff means, but I trust Tyler.
Joe Deceives. You could probably hit
Tennessee.
him with a. You could probably hit him with less
On the map kills?
because, yeah, on map 1 through 3 kills because Toronto's probably gonna get skunked by the Thieves.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, less. You see how Tyler is so systematic about this?
yeah, dude.
Okay. All right. Those are I think let's just finalize it. Those are our Call of Duty picks for this week. We'll flex it just to be safe. Put down 20. No, more like more like 25. Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going to submit that. Make sure you download Prize Picks yourself. Use promo code COHN, COHN, play $5, and then instantly get $50 in lineups when you use promo code COHN. How about that?
Yeah, make sure to watch some COD this weekend.
So when the 49ers, just keep in mind, everyone, when the 49ers signed Kyle Pitts, Isaac Sumalo, Rico Dowdle, Boye Mafe, and a safety, thank us. Because Jed was sitting there being like, should we sign someone? And then he watched the show and he was like, you know what? We should sign 6 players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're making them a Super Bowl contender, basically. We're doing John's job for him.
Yeah, if they sign those 6 players and trade Brock Purdy, I think they can win the Super Bowl.
Could you imagine if like that tweet dropped from Adam Schefter? 49ers have traded Brock Purdy, 3 first-round picks, and I don't know, whoever else for Joe Burrow. How on fire Twitter would be.
Here's my question before we leave. Do you think the 49ers will find a way to void the guarantees in Nick Bosa's contract to avoid paying him $42 million this year?
Oh, that's good.
Right?
No,
I mean,
there's no
probably
way.
working out around the facility, has an awful contract, can't get out of it.
Nick's probably following all of the. He probably, when he heard about BA, he probably had his agent look over like, "Yo, we need to make sure we're
Are we good?
hitting everything." He's like, you know what? Remember how I always went back to Florida? I just want to be around the team this offseason. I really just want to be there, be around the guys.
He has $23 million in guaranteed salary this year. It's probably already been guaranteed, but if they could void that, but I don't think they will. You know why?
Because they love Nick.
Because he's Republican.
Oh my God. You think, I wonder if Kyle's Republican.
You wonder?
Yeah. Because Kyle does a lot of liberal things, you know, like giving money to everyone that needs it. You know, Siobhan Hargrave, Brandon Ayuk, George, Fred, Demo, all of you could get some money. You know,
he's personally responsible for the inflation in this country.
Yeah, he's just taxing the Niners, you know, and, you know, Democrats love taxes. So he's just like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go. Yeah. And just like, dude, help me out here.
Dad spoke at a Trump rally in 2015 or 16, but that's not Kyle.
Wait, really? Mike Shanahan did?
Mike did, yeah. He did that.
I never saw that. What? That's awesome. That's hilarious. Yeah. Wait, we really are the most that we. How do we have the most Republican team in San Francisco? Dude, that's so awesome.
It's almost like they did it on purpose or something. It's ridiculous. It's amazing.
I'm so surprised that wasn't memed or anything when Kyle like lost a Super Bowl. Like, how is that not a huge meme?
Do you remember the Key and Peele skit about Black Republicans and the things they would
say? Oh yeah.
I'm royally pissed. You think the Niners say that when they lose games? I am royally pissed. Royally.
Dude, you know, like Nick Bosa saw the Seahawks decline the presidential invite. And he's like, "You've got to be kidding me! I would have taken that."
I'll go.
Yeah, he probably is calling like, "Yo, can you see if we can get that invite?" Like, I'm super game right now. If they
already met Trump, he's good. Probably has him on speed dial.
Yeah, they probably honestly golf together in Florida.
I would imagine.
They go to. What?
Better watch out, Nick. You better watch out for those guarantees. They're coming.
Trump's going to own a team. He's going to bring in Juice, Nick, Joey, Kittle. He's bringing them all.
To Saudi Arabia?
Oh, my God. Imagine a Saudi-owned Republican team. That would be the most ironic battle of immorals I've ever seen. Could you imagine? It's like, wait, what are we supposed to do here?
Hey, I'll call them the San Francisco 49ers as long as they're winning, but as soon as they start falling apart, they are the San Jose Republicans. That's just what they are. I'm sorry.
Dude, it is kind of crazy because we're literally the team a decade ago that was kneeling for the anthem, and now we're the team.
How do you the Niners have a legit identity crisis. They don't know what they want to be.
You're like, how do we win
They've
a Super
tried on
Bowl?
both.
We've tried everything. Please let us win.
They were ultra woke. Now they're anti woke. And then I don't know. Maybe there'll be something else.
We're going to sign Aaron Rodgers as head coach and just go whatever weird direction he is next. Like, we're holding ashwagandha sessions this summer. Like, dude, like, we don't know what to do anymore.
And on that note, that's our show. Thanks for watching the most important episode of LaCohn and LaRocca ever recorded. Tyler, great stuff.
Yep.